Hey, welcome to another Marriage Minute. And we wanted to take just a few moments to talk about one of the things I talked about a couple weeks ago was cutting the cord of dependence. And how do couples do that, Ange? Oftentimes, couples get married and they don't cut the cord of dependence. But what does that look like?
I think we often see it when couples are married and there's an argument or a discussion, and they'll get on the phone and call either their parents, their mom, or possibly a girlfriend, or at the monthly girls' night out, they'll have a session of husband bashing where it is a lot of the complaining about their spouses, wanting people to agree with them and get on their side so that can fuel their fire and their gusto of their side of the disagreement. And they really need to instead work that out and really stick to one another through that instead of going to others.
Yeah, and that's so true that so many times that couple is not dependent on one another, and that allegiance, that loyalty, like you said, it goes to a parent, goes to a friend or whatever. When I think one of the key things that this couple can do when they are going to have severed and cut that cord of allegiance is that their loyalty now stands with one another, and it's between them and God, and they really go to God first. And then does that mean then that they can't seek any kind of counsel or share with anybody else?
Absolutely not. I think there's times where maybe they would together decide to go and do that, or they would ask permission to,
That's good.
of one another, of just, hey, can I talk to so and so about this? I'm still just struggling with this. And, being able to get permission from one another to do that would be important. And,
I think another thing that is so quick that we're quick to do is to look for others as opposed to going to God. And God is the first one that we're supposed to go to when we have issues in our marriage, because God's the one who established marriage. He's the one that founded it, put it in place, brought the two of you together. And we want to seek God and get His wisdom and His take, and then looking for godly counsel as opposed to, like you mentioned earlier, just getting somebody on your side to win the battle. And really, that both is here together.
you and I mean, we have found where, we're having that discussion, and we, decide we're going to pray about that. And it hasn't always been easy to, take that.
Especially for me.
To take that time to go to prayer, but that just brings such a calming peace and being able to sort out often those issues, or to find a plan in how to sort it out.
Yeah, and I think lastly, I'd say even with that, when we've gone to God in prayer, is that it's brought it to saying we're going to bring this to God, as opposed to the fact that I'm just against you and you're against me, and my way's right and yours is wrong, and vice versa, and we're just going to duke this thing out until we finish. Where when we go to God in prayer, we're saying, okay, God, I know that I think I'm right, but I really want your will in this, and I'm willing to give that up so I can do your will. And boy, it just changes everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So that's a great place to start for your cutting the cord of allegiance. And next Marriage Minute, we'll talk about cutting the cord of dependence.